Top of the morning to ya, and the tip of the hat. It was Thirsty Thursday, but now it's just Friday morning because it's after midnight. So I think that might have been my dumbest intro yet, but let's just keep going with it because it's been an embarrassing night all around. So I was at work today. My schedule's different this week because my niece's wedding is this weekend. Yay! We're all excited. And then my nephew, we do the buddy walk every year for him. It's a walk to benefit research and things for to research Down syndrome. My nephew has Down syndrome and he has autism. And so we go do this walk every year, and it's all happening on Saturday. So we're doing this big walk and this big event Saturday morning, and then we'll have to rush back and get ready. And then the wedding is luckily in the same town that the buddy walk is in, which is all kind of close to where most of my family's clustered. So I'm going to go out to my sister and her wife's house tomorrow night, and we're just gonna have a fun family sleepover and have chili and watch movies, and then tackle the rest of the weekend as a unit. And so tonight this week I just had more shifts over the weeknights instead of the weekend. And I went to I had the patio by myself tonight. It's all cozy out there and closed in now because fall is here. So it was cute and nice and chill. But I went up to my first table and I hadn't really, my personality hadn't really warmed up yet for the day. I hadn't been talking a lot. So I just kind of went into featuring items and things before I was mentally and verbally prepared, and it was just a really awkward start, or at least I felt it was. But then I came back, and when we were talking about their food plan, they were like, oh, you didn't mention the thing that I wanted to get. And I was like, oh, what did you want to have? And they told me, and they were like, but I want you to talk about it the way you talked about the other things. You should make those things sound good. Will you tell me all about it? And I was like, yeah, thank God, because I thought, man, I sound like I am literally having a stroke and getting brain damage in this moment when I was telling them about the first. It was crazy. So we got past that moment, and then when their food arrived, I was holding their side items, which are kind of family style shareable. I was going to put them down, and I was going to clear space for my boy behind me to drop their entree plates. And it was so dark and dim, and I didn't judge the distance right, and I knocked over the water glass, which is super skinny and really tall, so it already it's not very sturdy. So I knocked it over, and our glassware breaks so easy because it's nice and expensive. And so the water glass fell onto his silverware, and I just assumed that it was gonna shatter, and I got startled, and I was like, ah! Totally not professional. Did not keep my cool. I exclaimed loudly, ah! And then splashed water all over us. It was all over my leg. But it didn't break. And I was like, oh my God. Really, I was I overreacted to that as much as I could. I was that was as dramatic as it could possibly get. Usually I'm not that spastic. And so that was hilarious. And in the meantime, I had another table sitting that had just sat down behind us that I hadn't given water to yet. So they were able to watch the whole thing. It was really quiet, and there was nobody else out there. They were right next to us. And so I turned around to them, and I was like, how are you guys doing? They're good, but will you not throw water at us? And I was I usually try not to, but sometimes it's just, I fail. Oh, so I had that. But then, very exciting, I had these ladies sit down later. They were all in a big birthday group and on a trip together, and there was 7 of them, and they were like, oh, are you an artist or anything? Because they were talking about the show Nashville, and I was like, hey, fun fact, I used to work in production, and for fun, I would go and be a background extra on the show Nashville. And so on many episodes, I'm in the background, like I'm either in the crowd or I was a featured extra on many episodes as like an employee of like the Highway 65 like office stuff. And so then I would be like in some of the party scenes where they were having like the cocktail events and everything as well. But yeah, so they were all like, oh my God. And then so later they were like, are you an artist? Are you an actress? Or like, do you like sing or anything? And I was like, no, but I'm a tarot reader and I have a YouTube channel. I was like, so that's like, that's my creative thing. And they were like, oh my God. Oh, they started cheering, which, you know, you never know how people are going to react to the, you know, if you're a tarot reader, if they're going to think it's like amazing or like completely taboo. And so they were like, oh my God, can we book with you tomorrow? And I was like, shit, I've got all this wedding stuff. But then my nephew was at work and he was like, you should just like go to their Airbnb. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Cause I was just like, I didn't want to like have to clean up the house tomorrow. I had too much to do anyway. And so I'm obsessive, like OCD about like having company over, like I keep it fairly clean anyway, but, yeah, so I'll go to their Airbnb for like a 2.5 hour session and then I will go shopping for outfits for the wedding and it'll all be good. And I won't feel bad about spending a big chunk of money on something cute at, Anthropologie, hoping they'll have the dress they have online. So, but enough about that. We are here for our romance reading with the Romance Angel Oracle deck. This is an out-of-print Doreen Virtue deck, so it's one of the ones I like to use for us every week so we can all share it. Let's see. What do we need to know to benefit us in our love lives, in our romantic lives as we go forward into the week ahead? Anything that will benefit our process in deepening the relationships that we're in or attracting the kind of level of relationship that we want. Retreat, it's time to disconnect from the world. Well, it's so funny because this looks like a couple getting married and taking a stroll through the forest, maybe behind, it's like they're walking through the forest in wedding gear. I don't know, maybe somebody's cute is at this wedding, or maybe I'll run into Forest Guy again back out on the trails. But I would say, I always think of this card as just, and we've had other cards about reflecting recently, because, you know, we're like launching into this new beginning for ourselves, and Scorpio season is coming with eclipses, which are trying to kind of prune and edit everything that we don't need to be bringing with us so that we can set ourselves up for the greatest success with no, like, you know, hooks still in us or baggage or clutter, energetic clutter taking up space. And so, the Venus Cazimi is this weekend, which is, I believe, like Venus is in its home sign of Libra, or I can't remember the exact like planetary aspect that is happening that is the Venus Cazimi. But from what I've been reading and hearing, it is going to be a huge heart-opening event that is really going, like, it's a really good idea to get really in touch with what you love that day and think about it and get really clear about it and like declare your love, declare your devotion, declare your commitment to the things that you love and value, because Venus rules love and money and relationships and beauty in the home and how we, you know, enhance our lives, how we, you know, create and decorate our world, right? It's like our home aesthetics, our style, our looks, our haircuts, but like it's also relationships, it's friendships, business partnerships, it's equitable give and take, equal giving and receiving between pairs. Striking balance within the various areas of your life. So it's a really heart-opening day, and it's a very healing day. And so it's been suggested that you get really clear on the vision that you want to create for yourself based on your values and what you love and what you're passionate about, and feel all that in your heart and really like be thinking about that on the 22nd. So it's on Saturday, which is my niece's wedding. And I don't think that she knew about that when she set the date. So anything that is like declared on that day or created, it's going to have a seed level of being blessed and full of love and just good fortune. So I'm really excited that they're going to get married during that. That is a huge big deal. But that just makes me think of this. It's like retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. Give yourself some time to think about those things if you haven't already been, and just really marinate in that on Saturday. And, you know, maybe if you feel called to do some kind of something with it or take an action, or if you have a hunch or something that day, maybe pay attention to your impulses, you know, like observe them. Don't reflexively react to the impulses, but you can choose if you want to act once you like think about it and like, okay, let's see, okay, you know, examine where the feeling is coming from, where the thought is coming from, you know, what's really prompting you maybe to have that impulse, and then choose from there. But definitely give yourself time to reflect. Ooh, heart-to-heart conversation. So the impulse may be to talk to someone about, tell the world, you know, what you're wanting for yourself, or maybe let someone know if you're, you know, feeling like that's a conversation you've wanted to have with somebody recently. It might be a good day to do that on Saturday. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. I guess we don't know how it's going to go, but it's good to declare or just be open, you know, about what you are really authentically looking for, so you don't have to waste time or just like, you know, pretend or, you know, entertain something with someone and then find out like, you know, way down the road, like you're not on the same page, right? So it's worth the risk. You know, it's worth the risk to me not to waste, you know, valuable time when, if somebody is like definite no, you know? But yeah, who knows? I mean, maybe it's not. Who knows? And then this could also translate to people in your family, friends, any kind of discussions that you want to have about that will help enhance and heal your relationships, regardless of the nature of that relationship, business. Like, this is a good time to communicate, but communicate from a really loving place. I'm trying to remember what all's going on right now. I feel like Mars is still in Gemini, so, you know, the impulse to communicate has been strong. On that Saturday during that energy might be a good time to like sweeten it a little bit, sweeten the conversation, because Mars can, you know, be a little aggressive and Gemini can be a little bit sharp. So, but Venus Cazimi might soften the heart-to-heart conversations. Whether, you know, you have to talk to someone at work and figure something out, or, you know, chat with a friend or a lover, or maybe work something out between a family and have some heart-to-heart conversations. And it's like, you know, when you hear heart-to-heart conversations, it always sounds like it's going to be heavy and like unpleasant and a drag. But I mean, maybe like people just need to open up about their hopes. Maybe it's been a while since they've really talked about what they're dreaming of and inspired by and what they're proud of lately. And so those are heart-to-heart conversations too. Tomorrow I'm going to be reading cards for these ladies, and that is a reading is very heart-to-heart, even though it can be fun, it can be silly, you know, it's still very intimate and from the heart and to the heart. Okay, what else is going to help us in the coming week? Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Now, this, okay, on the obvious, like, surface level, can talk about literally, like, someone's beliefs are affecting this situation. Like, maybe your religious beliefs are affecting your dating life, or maybe, like, someone else has conflicting beliefs with you, and so maybe that will be a problem for you or them because you may not have aligned values. Or it may be that you have like really strong ideas about the nature of relationships or what they should look like because it was imprinted or presented to you that way through the hermeneutic lens of religion. Like maybe you think love and marriage has to look like this, and you were taught that because it was like sort of that out of the box, like low hanging fruit interpretation of like family life. The nuclear family is the only way it can be. And because you're a good Christian, or, you know, a Catholic, or a good, you know, Muslim, you're expected to do this. You know, religion can be very stern about relationships and love and romance and marriage. And so a lot of the times as adults, especially as time goes on and, you know, society evolves and things change, this has been going on since like the beginning of mankind. We're always in the same struggle. It's just in a different like outfit, right? But it's like trying to come to terms with the fact that you want to grow and evolve past what has been the norm, or you may want something different. And so it's about like shedding those old belief systems or the subconscious patterns that were imprinted because of the maybe reductive or simplistic or, you know, even erroneous interpretations that you had, or conclusions that you drew because of like religious language or dogma or culture around relationships. But maybe that's not really what you want, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship or a long-term relationship because it's always like this, you know. But like maybe you're just never been aware of it. Or maybe someone that you care about has those blocks because they assume that it's going to have to be this like heavy, unappealing situation that mirrors what they were taught. You know, it has to look the same as it did when they grew up, right? But yeah, I think that this is just right in line with everything else that we're being asked to examine during eclipse season. It's like, what kind of relationship do you desire for yourself? What does that look like? Your own unique version of it. And do you have hang-ups around it, or doubts that it can happen, or feel like it's not what it's expected because of religion? It would be a good idea to examine these things and then just like let go of stuff that like it's like, I don't need to think this, or I don't believe this, or this isn't really in line with my values. These were things that were projected onto me from other people's values that aren't necessarily mine, you know? So take a look at that, because it's gonna definitely affect the relationships that you're calling in. And so getting clear on that and making like peace with it, and like getting that, you know, like I just saw like a concrete floor being poured, or like a foundation, and how it's like all kind of lumpy at first until it like settles in, you know? I don't know, that imagery came to my mind. Okay, and last card for what is going to be the most productive approach for us. Chemistry. There is a strong magnetic attraction here. Okay, cool. So maybe you're going to meet someone soon that you're really going to hit it off with. Or maybe there's already someone in your realm that you have really strong chemistry with. And maybe you're wondering if it's the same for them too. And it just might be. So I would say flirt under the assumption that they are enjoying it, if you feel so bold. And yeah, maybe like nurture the chemistry, see where it goes. You never know. I think I feel like good. I feel like this is sort of like, even if there's not a specific person right now, I feel like it's like Venus, that Venus Cazimi is like sending in like love vibes and like marinating us in good sexual chemistry so that we can be very attractive and magnetic. And, you know, maybe someone is like circling the runway already or nearby, and so maybe this will like raise our magnetism a little bit. And unblock whatever. Like they're circling the runway. So can we get a gate open, please, people? Come on. Somebody's waiting to land. I can feel it. All right, y'all. I'm really excited for tomorrow. I'm going to eat something and take a shower and go to bed early so I'll be rested. And oh my God, you know how I have like all these like crews of workers like on our street doing all these weird, like the water company is out like doing the pipes, and there's just been like, it's just been a parade of chaos. And I was telling my best friend about it. And I was just like, I'll wait till these people are done. It's driving me insane. And then we got off the phone and I got a text from like Xfinity, and they were like, hello, Taylor. We're going to be in your area working on the internet, and we could be working outside of your house as early as 6 a.m. This is just me manifesting more of this because it's so absurd. It's like every day there's like a new thing. If I didn't know better, I would think I was under government surveillance and none of this was all just a sham. I don't know why they would be watching me. Probably because I'm like Sarah Connors from the whatever that Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie was, and there's some kind of futuristic plot that's unfolding that I don't know about, and like my future time traveling self knows what's happening. Somebody's gonna come by, knock on my door and let me in on what's going on any minute. I'm hanging up here, y'all. I'm insane. I'm just like going on and on. We don't need to talk anymore. Ciao, Bellas.